The views expressed are solely those of the speaker and not necessarily those of Paltalk.com, AVM Software, or its advertisers.
News Talk is online. News Talk online. I'm laughing at myself, ladies and gentlemen, because I sent a message out and it went to everybody got a pop-up on Paltalk. Brain dead. Welcome to News Talk online on Paltalk.com. News Talk online on Paltalk.com. Welcome to the room. I'm your host, Gary Baumgarten. Paltalk is the largest multimedia interactive program on the internet with more than 4 million unique users on demand on iTunes and on YouTube and on my blog, GaryBaumgarten.com, where you're encouraged to write anything you want, except don't make fun of me when I make a big error like the one I just made. And thanks to our good friends at CRN Digital Talk Radio. We're syndicated across the United States into 12 million additional households. I am your host, Gary Baumgarten. Welcome to the show. We're going to talk about a serious subject, but as you can tell, maybe I'm just a little unfocused today, and maybe we could discuss this very serious subject with a degree of sugar to help the medicine go down. You know, every day it seems we open the paper, that's for those of us who still have newspapers in our towns, or we turn on the television and watch the news or hear on the radio or read for sure on the internet that there are layoffs, and more layoffs due to the recession that has gripped the United States and the resulting global economic downturn affecting virtually every nation around the world. More than 500,000 jobs were lost in the United States last month alone. Now, obviously, those people are wondering, what am I going to do now? They're not the only ones. You know and I know that there are those among us who are still gainfully employed who are wondering, is the axe going to fall on me next? Well, what should we all do about all this? Well, I figured let's bring in a guy who could tell us, and in a manner in which it's maybe a little bit more palatable than you might think. He kind of believes in taking a negative and trying, at least, to turn it into a positive. Nick Nigro, he is the author of No Job, No Problem, and he's got some interesting tips on what those of us who have free time ought to be doing with our time. Nick, welcome to News Talk Online on Paltalk.com.
Good to be here.
It's good to have you. I hope I didn't denigrate your position by the way I introduced you just now.
No, it was an introduction. Fair.
Great and fair introduction.
Introduction.
Those of you who are critiquing the show today, start with that.
Well, don't forget the book is No Job, No Prob.
What did I say?
R-O-B.
Yeah, No Job, No Prob.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Tell me, somebody can actually turn lemons into lemonade if they get laid off?
Well, let me just say first of all that I didn't select the title and sort of that flippant tone, even though the book has a lot of humor and lightness. I think that first half of the book I deal with important utilitarian concerns like filing for unemployment benefits, severance pay if you're entitled to it, keeping your health insurance, tenant rights, job interview, tips, and job search resources. So I think the key is really to get started right away on Act 2 and not let time pass. If you need unemployment benefits, don't waste a second, because you're not going to get a check 2 days after you file for it. It'll take 3-4 weeks. So stuff like that really, start looking forward and, don't push the panic button. Sounds like a cliche, but it's better than the alternative.
So, how do you start networking for a job in a shrinking market when there's a lot of competition? Take my field, for example. There are radio stations and newspapers throughout this country that are laying off reporters. And so suddenly a lot of well-seasoned professionals are all clamoring for fewer and fewer available jobs. What would you recommend?
Yeah, well, I would say look, potentially into other fields. I know people who graduated from college with certain engineering degrees and, couldn't find work, and then they went into plumbing businesses and carpentry businesses. And so there are times when, perhaps making a career switch or a complete turnaround is something that you might have to do, but it could also be something that you would end up doing in the future. I mean, you really have to spread your blanket wide now if you can't find a job in your specialty. So I mean, that's the key.
Well, how does one retrain and still provide for his or her family? I'm thinking very much and often about my friends back in Detroit, where I was raised, and there's no question that even if they get some kind of a loan or a guarantee or a bailout from the federal government, people are going to lose their jobs. And imagine you've been working on the line at Ford, GM, or Chrysler for decades, and suddenly you're out on the street and you're not prepared to do another job. What do you do?
It's horrible, yeah. I mean, look to the state and local governments, and many of them do offer job training and the like, but it's not easy, especially for people in what you just said. The blue collar jobs like that are raising families. That is a dire